Welcome to another lesson in Intro to Computers and Their Uses. In this lesson, we'll be covering word processing software as well as file management, two extremely useful tasks that any computer user should be familiar with. So let's start with word processing. Word processing software is a software that allows you to create, edit, and save, even print documents. Typically, we're talking about text documents, but of course, as we'll learn in the demo, you can add different types of media such as pictures, links, right? All sorts of things. So some of the documents you might write or create using word processing software includes letters, contracts, invoices, marketing materials, and so forth. So some of the most popular, most frequently used examples of this software are Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and Apple Pages if you're on Mac OS. They all kind of do the same thing, right? It's create, edit, format these documents. So let's talk file types. So file types refers to the kind of data stored in a file and determines which software can open and use the file. So for word processing, typically we're going to run into PDF or doc or slash docx. We'll explain the difference in the next slides. It's not going to be too difficult to get this one wrong. I still see some students save their Word files incorrectly sometimes. But for the most part, everyone is somewhat familiar, right, with these file extensions. Now, for the other software we're going to cover in this class, students do typically or more frequently will get those file extensions wrong. Why is that a problem? Well, first of all, I do put very specific directions on which file extensions I accept for a certain assignment. In fact, I don't restrict them on Canvas, but that is something I could do in the future. But for now, it's important that you're mindful, right, of which file extension you're expected to turn in and which one you actually turned in. Why does it matter? Well, for especially for some of the other software, not so much for word processing, it can make it difficult for me to view that file, to view the whatever you're turning in, whether it's a presentation, a document, a spreadsheet, which we're going to learn in some of the next lessons. Make sure you get that file type right. Each file type does something slightly different, has a different purpose. We're just going to get familiar with the most important ones, the most useful ones. So, like I said, for word processing, it's doc or PDF. So, what is doc? Well, doc or docx, which is the modern version of doc, is a file format used for processing Word documents, for editing them, for creating them, and for sharing them. That's the big difference between doc and PDF, is that doc you can edit the file. With PDF, you can't, as we'll see in the next slide. So why is there doc and docx? Well, back in the day, Microsoft Word was kind of the king of word processing. It was like sometimes the only software you could use. But nowadays, there's a lot of different competitors to Microsoft Word. We're going to use Google Docs quite a bit in this class. I can tell you right now, I don't really use Microsoft Word these days. And that I see using Microsoft Word, I try to get them to use Google Docs. I'll explain more so once we get to that demo. But yeah, Doc stands for document. It was created by Microsoft. DocX is just a modern version. It has that X, which means XML. So it's just a newer format that makes it more compatible with other software. So not just Microsoft Word. Now you can use it on Google, on Apple, or whatever software that you're using. So yeah, remember Doc, the big difference between PDF is that you can edit those files. With PDF, you really can't do that. So PDF, what is PDF about? Well, PDF was developed by Adobe, a different company. This one's really for presenting documents. So it makes it a lot easier to present these documents in a PDF format. There's a lot more software that will be able to show you that document with PDF. With Doc and DocX, you do have to use a word processor. With PDF, there's a whole umbrella of software that will open that document for you. You could even open it on Google Chrome, for example. We're going to get to browsers once we get to the internet section of this class. But yeah, PDF, similar to DocX. The big difference is you cannot edit them. These are only meant to be viewed. It's almost like an image of your document. So you can still print it, you can share it, you can view it. You just won't be able to edit it. Of course, nowadays there's cool software that kind of does everything. You can actually upload PDFs these days and edit them via certain softwares. Now, PDFs again are not designed to do that. So even when you use this software that's capable of editing a PDF, sometimes it'll mess up with the format. It won't, it won't grab all the information that was on the original PDF. So things can kind of go awry because again, PDFs are not designed to be edited. There are tricks you can do, but that's not how they're designed.